I'd like to kick off with a little bit of a pub quiz. So just can we have a show of hands? I won't put anyone on the spot. Who thinks that alcohol consumption in the UK is increasing? Quite a few. Who thinks we have a binge drinking epidemic? And who thinks that we have a problem due to a rush of 24-hour drinking thanks to licensing reform that means that pubs are open all day? The reason you guys think that, I've just put up your hands, is because you're being lied to by the British media and you're being lied to by neo-prohibitionist groups masquerading as health professionals. Now I've got your attention. Some new stats came out this week which didn't make it into the news, weren't reported into the news at all. Per capita alcohol consumption in the UK fell again over the last year. It's fallen 8 consecutive years. We're now drinking 10% less alcohol per head than we did in 2004. Underage drinking, which we're told is a real problem that we have to do something about, has fallen by 29% since 2008. One statistic that is going up, alcohol-related hospital admissions are going up. I'd like to tell you why they're going up. Let's say you have a pint in a pub, and then you're walking down the street, and there's some people building, and the scaffolding collapses, and some bricks fall on you. And the reason you're in hospital is because these bricks have fallen on you. When you get to hospital, so they'll ask you a bunch of questions, as long as you're conscious, so it wants to get you out of the coma. One of the questions they will ask you is, had you been drinking before the incident? And you say, well, yes, I had, but that was nothing to do with it. That will be recorded as an alcohol-related hospital admission. The NHS has already recognised that this is totally erroneous, that it completely gives a totally distorted impression of alcohol-related hospital admissions, but the government, who know this, are still quoting this shocking rise in alcohol-related hospital admissions. Liver disease is going up. Liver disease is going up for 3 reasons. It's going up because of alcohol abuse, it's going up because of obesity, and it's going up because of hepatitis. And while people are very happy to say, yes, we have an obesity problem in the UK, obesity is never cited as a cause for rising liver disease. It's all blamed on alcohol. There are negative alcohol messages are completely rife across our national media. And the reason for this is because we need a moral panic. We need a moral panic because someone like the Daily Mail needs to scare you into not going out. It's going to stay in, watch the television, watch Simon Cowell's programmes, consume the products that are advertised in the pages of the Daily Mail so the Daily Mail gets more advertising. Shut up, sit down, do as you're told, and don't go out and don't socialise and don't express yourselves as individuals. That's why we're being given these negative alcohol messages. These are not the truth. This is not the truth. The statistics, the government's own statistics, prove that we have an alcohol problem. We have a chocolate eating problem. We have a people falling off step ladders doing DIY problem. These things are there because everyone's going to some people are always going to overdo anything. But the binge drinking problem in the UK is not getting worse, it's getting better. Less and less people are binge drinking, less and less people are drinking to harm themselves, but we're being told the opposite. There's a thing on the internet called LexisNexis, which you can use to word search different publications. And I searched the term binge drinking. Now, the Times newspaper, which has been going since 1785, between 1785 and 2000, the Times used the phrase binge drinking 5 times. In 2004, it used the term binge drinking 300 times. Now, I promise you, because this is yet another fact, that we were drinking a lot less in 2004 than we were drinking in any year between 1785 and 1999. Binge drinking has basically become a problem, not because people are binge drinking more, but because the definition of binge drinking has changed. In the late 90s, binge drinking used to mean a drink binge. People like Gaza, Paul Gascoigne, and people like Chris Evans went on a drink binge. And that was something we all clearly understood what it meant. That was something where someone goes out and starts drinking on a Friday and then disappears, carries on drinking all weekend and turns up on Monday. Clearly that is destructive, damaging behaviour, although we should all maybe try it once in our lifetime. But we knew that that's what a drink binge was. And then the government changed the definition of binge drinking to 4 or more units in any particular session. And suddenly, instead of just Gaza and Chris Evans being binge drinkers, about half the population were binge drinkers. If you look at the BMA guidelines on drinking, if you drink more than 8 units in a day, you have what they call an alcohol use disorder. So if I have 2 pints of beer with my lunch, and then I go back to work, and I work perfectly fine, and then I have 2 pints of beer with my dinner in the evening, I have an alcohol use disorder. And you have to do this once in 7 days before you're surveyed for the questionnaire. So if you go to your son or daughter's wedding, it's a wedding. You have a few drinks. You've done that once. You don't do it every day, you don't do it every week, but you've done it once. If you get surveyed the week after that, you have an alcohol use disorder. This is why binge drinking is increasing in the UK. It's not because we're drinking more, it's because the way it's being measured is changing, and it's painting alcohol in a negative way. The cost of alcohol to society is apparently £20 billion a year. Now, when you look at that, that is a shocking figure. When you look at that figure, when you break it down, more than half that figure is intangibles. And what that means is it's a cost of families having arguments because one family member is drinking too much. It's the cost of lost productivity at work because of people turning up with hangovers or, not calling in as sickie when they've been out the night before. Now, those things do happen. I'm not arguing that. But I was really, really rubbish at accountancy when I did my business degree. But one thing I did learn was that if you're going to measure the cost of something, you have to use this thing called double entry bookkeeping. If you're going to mention a cost, you also have to mention the benefit. A negative and a debit. Sorry, they're both the same thing. A debit and a credit. So if we're going to mention the cost of alcohol to society, shouldn't we also be measuring the benefit of alcohol to society? If we lose productivity through people being hungover at work, and that is a cost to the economy, what is the benefit to the economy of a boss taking his team out for a beer after they've worked really, really hard? What is the benefit to the economy of there's a problem at work and someone takes a person to the pub and has a quiet word over a pint instead of taking that person to an industrial tribunal and escalating things further? What is the benefit to the economy of people just getting to Friday and just going, we're going to the pub tonight, let's just have a chat? What's the benefit to the economy of if you've got two groups of people doing a business deal and they go out for a few drinks and they get to know each other, so there's a bond of mutual trust, which means that they can negotiate a better deal with each other? These things are not measured. These things are not recorded. We've been drinking alcohol since the dawn of civilization. It was alcohol drinkers who built the pyramids. It was alcohol drinkers who had the Industrial Revolution. We were drinking shed loads during the Industrial Revolution. Louis Pasteur was necking beer like there was no tomorrow when he discovered pasteurisation, which saved millions of lives. Winston Churchill was hammered when he won the Second World War. People drink alcohol and they do good things. We're still here. We're drinking less now than we have in our history, and now's when we've got the problems. Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine. But let me, so there's a few kind of prominent alcohol drinkers and alcohol fans. I've got a list in here of some prominent teetotalers. Adolf Hitler. George W. Bush. Now, George W. Bush was an alcoholic, but it was only after he stopped drinking that he decided that God was speaking to him on a personal basis. So what I want to say, just in finishing, is that alcohol is a good thing. Yes, there's a problem with binge drinking. That problem is decreasing. For the vast majority of people, alcohol is something positive. Alcohol is something that enriches our lives. It's something that makes us more friendly with each other. It's something that gets rid of the worries of the world. And I'm not saying drink to excess every day because that is damaging. But I'm saying drink to excess every now and again because it is good for us. Cheers.